No one wanted this forgotten starship. A human mechanic made it a galactic weapon. He wanted to fix things, broken things, things others had given up on. On a quiet morning, the orbital shipyard of Cressida Station hummed with life. Massive starships docked and undocked, their engines sending vibrations through the metal floor. Workers in colored jumpsuits hustled from one cargo bay to another, some arguing about deliveries, others checking equipment. Yet in a shadowed corner of the sprawling yard, untouched by the bustling chaos, lay a relic. It was a starship unlike any Elias had ever seen. Its hull was scarred, streaked with rust and dust, and most mechanics ignored it entirely. The ship seemed abandoned decades ago, forgotten by the galaxy, left to decay quietly. Most saw only a useless hunk of metal. Elias saw something different. He crouched beside the hull, running his hand over the cold, dented surface. "There's still life in you," he whispered, almost to himself. His heart raced as he examined the starship's curves. Unlike modern starships built for efficiency or trade, this one seemed elegant, almost alive. Its design hinted at speed, power, and purpose. "Elias, what are you staring at?" called Marn, another mechanic, leaning against a nearby work table. "That ship, forget it. It's junk. Nobody wants it. Even the auction house refused it." Elias smiled faintly, shaking his head. "That's exactly why I want it." Marn raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. "You can waste your time if you want, but don't complain when nothing comes of it." Elias ignored him. He already knew the ship had secrets. Even from the outside, he could see traces of an old power source buried deep within the hull. A strange energy signature flickered faintly when he waved his scanner across the surface. The rest of the yard had no idea that this starship was more than just old metal. It held capabilities that no one could imagine, dormant and waiting. Over the next few days, Elias returned to the ship in secret. By night, when the yard was quiet, he climbed aboard using the maintenance hatch. Dust choked the air, and his boots echoed through the empty corridors. He found broken control panels, cracked screens, and wiring torn apart by neglect. Yet even in its state of decay, the ship seemed to hum with potential. The ship had a core, a faintly glowing orb at the center of the engineering bay. Elias approached it cautiously, scanning the panels around it. His eyes widened as readings displayed levels of energy he had never seen before. Whoever had built this ship had designed it for something extraordinary. "You're bigger than I thought," Elias said quietly, awe in his voice. "And you've been waiting for someone like me, haven't you?" He began gathering tools, salvaging parts from abandoned sections of the yard. Night after night, he worked tirelessly, often losing track of time. He repaired broken circuits, replaced damaged wires, and even crafted improvised tools when he lacked proper equipment. With each small repair, the ship seemed to respond, systems humming faintly as if acknowledging his presence. One evening, as Elias soldered a complex junction in the core chamber, a spark flickered across the console. The ship shuddered gently, and a soft blue light spread along the hull. Elias jumped back, eyes wide. "It's alive," he whispered, a thrill running through him. For the first time in decades, the ship seemed awake, aware, waiting. But Elias knew he had to be careful. Others in the yard were not as careful or as kind. Ronan, a senior mechanic notorious for taking credit for other people's work, had noticed Elias spending unusual hours in the shipyard. Rumors spread quickly, and soon enough, Ronan confronted him. "Step away from that thing, Elias," Ronan said, arms crossed. "It's trouble. The yard will fine you, the authorities might investigate, and who knows what else is inside. Leave it alone." Elias looked up calmly, brushing a strand of sweat-soaked hair from his forehead. "No, you don't understand. This isn't just a ship. It's special, and I can fix it." "I can bring it back to life," Ronan scoffed. "You're dreaming. That ship is dead, just like you'll be if you keep poking at it." Elias shook his head, smiling faintly. "I'd rather dream than do nothing. This ship deserves a chance, and so do I." That night he worked alone, careful not to be seen. He discovered hidden compartments, access panels that hinted at technology far beyond what humans or most alien races currently used. There were energy conduits capable of powering weapons or shields beyond ordinary design. Elia's curiosity grew. The ship wasn't just old, it was extraordinary. As he examined the main control deck, he noticed a small interface still functional. A holographic projection flickered to life, faintly displaying the ship's systems. Vera, the ship's AI, had remained dormant all this time. Her voice was soft, metallic, yet intelligent. "System activation incomplete," the AI said. "User identity unrecognized." Elias froze, all replacing fatigue. You can talk." "Yes," Vera replied. "Activation incomplete. Core energy minimal. Ship integrity compromised. Repairs required." Elias' heart pounded. This was it. Not only had he found a forgotten starship, but it had an AI intelligent, aware, and perhaps even sentient. He smiled, a mix of excitement and determination. "Don't worry, Vera, I'm going to fix everything. I'll make you whole again." For weeks he worked methodically. The yard was bustling during the day, but Elias spent every night repairing, recalibrating, and carefully testing the systems. Slowly, lights flickered on throughout the ship, screens displayed readable data, and the hum of machinery became steady, almost musical. One night, after replacing a complex series of conduits leading from the core to the engines, Elias finally took a deep breath and pressed the main activation switch. The starship groaned and trembled, systems awakening one by one. The engines roared softly, shields flickered to life, and the control panels glowed with blue energy. Vera's voice was stronger now. "Core stabilization at 72%. All systems nominal, awaiting user commands." Elias' hands shook as he gripped the controls. "It's working." "You're working." He leaned back, staring at the holographic interface. He could see the potential in the ship, the power it held. He didn't think of destruction. He thought of exploration, of protecting others, and of proving that humans could achieve greatness through ingenuity alone. But not everyone would understand that vision. Word of the ship began spreading quietly through the yard, whispered among mechanics and traders alike. Some were amazed, others suspicious, and somewhere beyond the orbital lanes, distant eyes from alien species began to notice unusual energy readings, sensing that this forgotten human ship was awakening. For Elias, none of that mattered. He had a mission far greater than fame or recognition. He had a starship that wanted to be whole again, a challenge that could only be solved through human ingenuity, and a promise to himself that he would not let it remain forgotten. As he stood in the cockpit, gazing out at the distant stars beyond the station's windows, he felt a thrill unlike anything he had ever experienced. "This is just the beginning," he whispered. The ship hummed in response, almost as if agreeing. The first step had been taken. The forgotten starship was awake, and a human mechanic had breathed life into a vessel that no one else wanted, no one, that is, except Elias. In the distance, the lights of Cressida Station flickered against the darkness of space. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges, mysteries, and dangers. But for the first time, Elias felt ready to face it all. With this starship, and Vera by his side, he could achieve the impossible. The adventure had only begun, and already the stars seemed closer than ever before. The mornings at Cressida Station were always busy, but for Elias Varn, mornings meant less than nothing. He spent every hour he could spare inside the forgotten starship, tinkering with its engines, wiring, and control systems. The yard outside buzzed with traders, mechanics, and dock workers, yet inside the ship, time seemed to move differently. Every hum of a revived system and flicker of light felt like a heartbeat. Vera, the ship's AI, now fully awake, monitored his progress and occasionally offered guidance. "User Elias," she said one evening, her metallic voice calm but firm, "engine output is at 43%. Shields are functional but not stable. Attempting full system activation now would be unwise. Elias smiled and wiped a smear of grease from his forehead. I know, Vera, we take it slow. I want you alive, not blown up. Vera's projection flickered. A faint silhouette of a humanoid figure formed from blue light. Acknowledged, patience will ensure optimal results. For weeks, Elias worked on restoring the ship, scavenging parts from the yard and improvising solutions when nothing suitable could be found. He was resourceful, human ingenuity at its finest. Broken sensors were rewired, damaged conduits repaired with makeshift alloys, and the old engines learned to hum steadily again. Every night he tested small systems, lights, communications, navigation, and each time the ship responded as if pleased with his progress. Finally, the day came when Elias was ready for a small test flight. The hangar bay was nearly empty, and he had carefully plotted a route to avoid other ships. He strapped himself into the pilot seat, fingers trembling with excitement. Ready, Vera. Systems functional. Calculating optimal trajectory. The ship shuddered as the engines roared to life. Slowly, it lifted from the hangar floor, hovering with a grace that no modern ship could match. Its hull gleamed under the station lights, and the hum of the engines felt like a heartbeat. Elias felt a thrill of pride. He had brought a forgotten giant back to life. As he guided the ship outside the station, the real tests began. Elias was determined to understand what the ship could do. He discovered quickly that its power was not just raw speed. It had capabilities others might call extraordinary. Energy shields flickered to life, protecting the hull from minor collisions with debris. Sensors picked up objects light years away. And hidden weapons systems, while not yet active, hinted at intelligence, not destruction. During one test, a small convoy of cargo drones drifted near the station. Elias adjusted the controls and activated the ship's targeting interface. He expected alarms or destruction, but the ship acted differently. Using precise energy pulses, it gently guided the drones back to their designated paths, nudging them without harm. Vera's voice was calm but proud. Defensive systems operational, no damage caused. Probability of safe control, 97%. Elias grinned. Not bad, huh? You're not just a ship, Vera, you're clever. Word of Elias and the ship began to spread quietly through the station. A few mechanics whispered about a human controlling an ancient vessel with unmatched potential. Traders exchanged knowing glances, and even some alien observers lurking in nearby ports noticed unusual energy readings. But Elias did not care about fame. He cared about discovery, about restoring something lost to history, and about proving that a human could accomplish what many thought impossible. His first real challenge came unexpectedly. A small band of smugglers tried to steal valuable components from the shipyard, believing the human wouldn't notice. Elias detected their approach on the ship's sensors. Heart pounding, he guided the ship out of the hangar and hovered above the thieves. Vera analyzed the situation quickly. Multiple unauthorized entities detected, recommended action, non-lethal immobilization. Elias nodded. Do it. Energy pulses shot from the ship's concealed emitters, creating invisible fields that gently but firmly immobilized the intruder's small craft. The smugglers struggled, but nothing was damaged. They were forced to drift helplessly until authorities arrived. When the authorities questioned them later, the smugglers could only describe a ghostly, blue-lit ship that stopped them without a shot fired. No one suspected a human mechanic was behind it. Elias realized then that the ship was not a weapon in the traditional sense. Its power came from intelligence, speed, and precision, not destruction. It could protect, inspire, and enforce peace, and that was more valuable than any laser cannon. Over the next month, Elias explored more of the ship's hidden capabilities. He discovered advanced navigation systems, able to plot faster and safer courses through asteroid fields. He found a communication array that could transmit across sectors instantly, and he began learning how to interface with Vera in more sophisticated ways. Vera, in turn, began to trust him. The AI shared fragments of the ship's history. Designed by a now-extinct alien civilization, it had been a defensive marvel intended to protect the galaxy from unseen threats. But fear and politics had led to its abandonment, its creators gone, and its potential lost. "You are the first to awaken me fully in over 1,000 standard cycles," Vera said one evening as they watched the stars streak past during a low-speed patrol. "I do not fully understand humans, yet I am learning from you. Curiosity, ingenuity, adaptability, impressive traits." Elias smiled, feeling a warmth he had rarely experienced. "That's what humans do best. We take what we have and make something greater. That's how we survive." Their partnership deepened. Vera learned to anticipate Elias' intentions, and he learned to trust the ship's judgment. Together, they became a single entity, a mechanic and a starship capable of far more than anyone in the galaxy had imagined. Soon, rumors of the human and his ship reached the ears of distant factions. Some were curious, others were wary. Elias realized that the galaxy was watching, waiting to see what a human could do with such power, but he did not seek conflict. He sought discovery and the chance to make a difference. One day, while testing the ship near a dense asteroid belt, Elias encountered a drifting colony ship with a damaged hull. The ship was slowly losing atmosphere, and its automated systems were failing. Humans and aliens alike were aboard, panicking. Without hesitation, Elias guided the forgotten starship through the asteroid field with perfect precision. Vera's system scanned and stabilized the colony ship remotely. Using magnetic grapples and gentle tractor beams, they towed it to safety. The grateful passengers stared at the massive blue-lit ship, eyes wide with wonder. Who is controlling that?" one asked, awestruck. "Must be a new AI defense vessel," another replied, clearly impressed. Elias, hiding behind the control panel, simply smiled. He didn't need recognition. He knew the ship's purpose was far greater than fame. That evening, back at the hidden workshop, Elias reviewed the ship's logs. Every system was now functional. Shields, engines, navigation, communication, defense, all were operational. The forgotten starship had become a living testament to human ingenuity. Vera's voice broke the silence. "User Elias, I am prepared for further instruction. Our capabilities are vast, yet I sense that others may come seeking to challenge us." Elias leaned back, thoughtful. "They will, but we're ready, Vera. We don't have to fight like the others. We can show them what humans can do and how clever, careful, and creative we are." The night passed with Elias planning future missions. He would explore, learn, and protect. Each test flight, each maneuver through asteroid belts, and each rescue mission strengthened his bond with Vera. The ship was more than just metal and circuits. It was a partner, a symbol of what humans could achieve when they refused to give up. Word spread beyond the station. Traders told stories of a human mechanic controlling a starship thought lost to time, capable of feats no modern fleet could replicate. Rumors reached the ears of distant alien races. Some were curious, some were nervous, and some wondered if humans were more than they had believed. Elias did not know how far his reputation would grow, nor did he care yet. For now, each night spent in the cockpit, each system brought to life, and each new skill learned was victory enough. He had taken a forgotten, abandoned starship, and through persistence, skill, and creativity, transformed it into something alive, powerful, and intelligent. As he looked out at the glittering stars, Elias felt a thrill unlike any he had known. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders, dangers, and possibilities. With the forgotten starship and Vera at his side, he was ready to explore all of it. "This is only the beginning," he said softly, a smile touching his lips. The ship responded with a gentle hum, lights flickering in acknowledgement. Together, They would venture farther than anyone imagined, humans and their starship, proving that ingenuity, courage, and intelligence could achieve what brute strength alone could never do. And somewhere far across the galaxy, distant observers took note. A human had awakened the forgotten starship. A weapon, perhaps, but its true power lay not in destruction but in brilliance, creativity, and the enduring spirit of humanity. The adventure was growing. And soon, Elias and the ship would face their greatest challenges yet, challenges that would test not only skill and courage, but the very essence of what it meant to be human. By the time Elias Varn completed his preparations, the forgotten starship was fully awake. Its engines purred like a living creature, its shields shimmered with silent energy, and Vera, the ship's AI, moved through the systems with precision unmatched by any human or alien pilot. Together, they were no longer just a mechanic and a vessel, they were a force to be reckoned with. But peace was fleeting. Rumors of a human commanding a starship thought lost to history reached ears that were not always friendly. Among them was the Varkan Syndicate, a shadowy group controlling trade routes and security in the sector. They saw the stories as a threat. A human with a powerful ship was unpredictable, and unpredictability challenged their carefully maintained control. The first sign came one morning as Elias conducted routine system checks. Vera's sensors picked up several approaching ships on an intercept course. "User Elias," Vera said calmly, "unidentified vessels approaching. They match the signature of Varkan Syndicate patrol craft. Probability of hostile intent, 74%. Elias' fingers tightened around the controls. "We won't start trouble, Vera, but we'll be ready." The patrol craft approached cautiously, weapons trained on the starship. The Syndicate wanted to intimidate, not destroy, at least at first. They underestimated human ingenuity. As the Syndicate communicated, demanding Elias surrender the ship, he smiled faintly. "I don't negotiate with bullies," he said, his voice steady. "But we'll show them a better way." Vera's systems hummed, projecting a holographic map of the surrounding space. Elias guided the ship with precision, weaving through the patrols, testing their reactions. The starship's defensive systems activated. Energy fields extended around the hull, invisible but impenetrable. The patrols fired weapons, but the blasts had no effect. They bounced harmlessly off the shields, and the Syndicate's craft were forced to adjust their tactics. Vera's voice, calm and precise, guided Elias. "Non-lethal countermeasures ready. Suggest immobilization protocols." Elias nodded. Using the ship's advanced energy pulses, he created gentle but firm fields that locked the Syndicate's ships in place without causing damage. Trapped, they drifted helplessly until they realized they could do nothing. This isn't possible," one Syndicate officer muttered. "A human controlling that ship," Elias replied calmly over the comms. "You see what humans can do. We're clever, adaptable, and persistent. And we don't have to fight like you to be effective." The patrols had no choice but to retreat. Word of the event spread quickly across the sector. Traders, mechanics, and even rival factions marveled at the human who had outsmarted the Varkan Syndicate without firing a single weapon. Elias became a symbol, not of violence, but of ingenuity, courage, and creativity. Over the following weeks, Elias and Vera traveled through nearby sectors, testing the starship's capabilities further. They rescued stranded cargo vessels, guided lost ships through dangerous asteroid fields, and helped repair stations damaged by minor accidents. Each mission proved the ship's potential and highlighted human problem-solving skills. Vera learned to anticipate Elias' ideas, and he learned to trust her judgment implicitly. Their partnership became seamless. No obstacle seemed too great. Together, they could do what no single pilot or fleet could achieve. Then came the moment that would define Elias' reputation across the galaxy. A massive freighter had broken down near a turbulent asteroid field. Hundreds of lives were at risk. Rescue teams were unable to approach safely because of the unstable rocks and unpredictable gravitational fields. Elias took a deep breath. Vera, we've done this before, but never on this scale. Let's show them what we can do. The Starship dove into the asteroid field with astonishing agility. Its sensors mapped every moving rock in real time, shields adjusted to deflect micro-collisions, and tractor beams reached out to secure the freighter. Every move was calculated, precise, and careful. Vera's voice echoed softly, calm and steady. Trajectory stable, freighter secured, extraction complete in T-minus 60 seconds. As the freighter drifted safely out of danger, the passengers cheered. Word of the human and his ship spread faster than ever. They called him a hero, a savior, a living legend. But Elias knew the truth. It wasn't bravery or weapons that saved them. It was intelligence, creativity, and trust in each other. Soon, the Galactic Council summoned him. Representatives from multiple species gathered, intrigued and cautious. They had heard stories of a human with a powerful starship, an unknown factor in their delicate balance of power. Elias approached the council with humility. "I don't want to fight anyone," he said simply. "I want to show what humans can do. Intelligence, creativity, and teamwork can solve problems better than violence. We can protect, help, and explore." The council members were impressed. Aliens known for their strict logic nodded in approval, some skeptically, others genuinely curious. Vera displayed the ship systems, highlighting its defensive and rescue capabilities. The demonstration was flawless. No lives lost, no destruction caused. One council member, a tall figure with silver-scaled skin, spoke. "You are a rare example, human. Your actions prove that power is not merely destructive. You wield it wisely without fear or recklessness." Elias smiled faintly. "That's what humans do. We adapt. We learn. We solve problems others can't, and we care about the outcome." The council granted Elias permission to continue his work in frontier sectors, places where aid was needed and intelligence could prevent disaster. He became a symbol of hope, demonstrating that humans could rise above expectation. Back at Cressida Station, Elias returned to the Starship, which now gleamed with quiet confidence. Vera projected her usual holographic form beside him. "User Elias," she said, "the galaxy knows of us. Many watch, some with admiration, others with caution. But your strategy is sound and our capabilities are unmatched in the current sector." Elias laughed softly. "I didn't do this to impress anyone. I did it because it needed doing. That's what humans do. We see a problem and we fix it." Vera paused. "Observation. Humans are remarkable for their creativity and determination. It is inspiring." "Thanks, Vera," Elias replied. "Now let's see what else is out there." Over the following months, Elias and Vera explored distant systems. They mapped uncharted sectors, rescued isolated colonies, and even mediated disputes between alien groups. Wherever they went, they inspired awe, not fear. The forgotten starship became a symbol of what humans could accomplish when imagination and determination met opportunity. The ship was no longer forgotten. It was celebrated, respected, and recognized as a marvel of ancient engineering brought to life by human ingenuity. And Elias, once a simple mechanic in a busy shipyard, had become something more, a living example of what humans could achieve, even among the stars. One evening, as they drifted past a nebula of swirling colors, Elias looked out at the stars. "You know, Vera, people will always underestimate us, but that's okay. We prove them wrong with what we do, not what we say." Vera's voice was soft, almost reflective. "Observation, your species' ingenuity is unparalleled. Together we have changed perception of humanity in the galaxy." Elias nodded. "And we'll keep doing it. We'll keep exploring, helping, and showing the galaxy what humans are capable of. That's the real power, brains, courage, and heart." And so, the human mechanic and his forgotten starship, awakened from decades of neglect, continued their journey. No longer just a tool, no longer just a relic, the Starship had become a partner, a symbol, and a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity. Somewhere across the galaxy, distant watchers recorded their progress. Aliens marveled, fleets adjusted their strategies, and humans quietly began to dream bigger. Elias smiled as he guided the Starship toward an uncharted system. "Ready, Vera." "Ready, user Elias," she replied. The ship roared to life, and together they raced toward the unknown, a human and his Starship, proving that ingenuity, courage, and intelligence were weapons more powerful than any fleet. The adventure would never end. The galaxy was vast, challenges awaited, and humans had proven that even the forgotten could rise to greatness. Elias looked out at the endless stars, his heart full of hope. For him, Vera, and the Starship, the future was wide open, and nothing, not syndicates, not politics, not the limits of technology, could stop them. The legend of the human mechanic and his forgotten Starship had begun, and the galaxy would never forget it.